Hi, this is Magnar and welcome back to my modding tutorial series for Rome 2 Total War. A couple of episodes ago I showed you how to edit starting armies and garrisons with PFM or with Edit SF, which is great for editing someone else's start pos or doing edits to a start pos you've already created. You can also use it for new start poses by copying the vanilla start pos and doing it that way. But there is an alternative. Most of that what can be done that way, which has to be redone every single time there's a patch, has to be redone manually from scratch. You can also do it through assembly kit. And with assembly kit, it puts it into a table format, which allows you then to copy it, save it in an Excel document, and then just copy and paste it back over each time there's a patch, so you don't lose all the changes that you made, and you can just update them very quickly. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So first thing we do is we start up assembly kit. I've already done that here. Then we connect to Dave database visual editor. Yes, we want to connect to the database. Now there's two ways in Dave to edit starting armies. Now the first and easiest to kind of comprehend way is by going into Form Launcher, View, Form Launcher, and then we're going to go to Starting Positions. Double click on that and it opens up a little window with a whole bunch of different starting conditions for each faction and campaign, etc., etc. As we can see here, so you got your campaign name, and where we changed the income over here in the last episode, and a bunch of other stuff. But today, all we're concerned about is these two sections here: the start pos land units, where the units are assigned for a starting army, and start pos naval units. Let's firstly go to the main Rome campaign, and we'll work again with Rome as we have been throughout this tutorial series. Okay, the way this works is you select a character up here. So this starts off here. It's got the faction leader. You can see the type of character he is as a general. If you click on that, you can see all the different kind of characters that a character could be, whether it's a minister, dignitary, etc., etc. And we know this one's a general. General also means admiral. This general here does not mean that it's not an admiral, because they're both in one here. Where we find out whether it's an admiral or a general is we can look over here and the override general unit. We can also change here, of course, what unit we want that general to have. So the moment this one is Rome general. If we go across, we can see here type for the next character. So this is character number 2. You can see that the name changes here from character 1. The type is general, but over here the override general unit, this is a unit key for a naval unit. 4 at the end of a name, or 3, or whatever, 1.5. That refers to the type of ship that unit is on. So this is on a naval unit. So with the naval unit, you can see here that the units are in the start pos naval units section. And the units are assigned directly to the general rather than to an army. So we can add, of course, click on new, we can add a new type of ship. So there, it's got 5 in it, means it's a boat. So now an African archer unit will be to that general. Or we can change what's already been put in there. There we go, I've got a fire pot one going in there now. And that's how you change naval units. Nice and easy. You can see down here what tables those changes have taken effect in. So the first one we did affects start pos naval units. and you can see what the actual change in that table was, and same down here. For armies, we look in this start pos land units, and again we can add units to that army, we can remove units from that army, and we can change units from that army. So we'll just make it a Ethiopian cavalry unit, now a part of that army. The soldiers here is, as you can see, a percentage. I'll say 100%, so it starts off full. This percentage is based on the vanilla unit size. So if you've got 100, if you're ultra, then you've got 160 men for Hastati, so that 100 means 160. Unfortunately, what you can't do at the moment is increase unit sizes or increase starting army sizes through the assembly kit. In this method, you can only make it maximum 160 for an infantry. So the way we do it through PFM, or we can actually change the number of men in a starting unit directly to make it 240, 500, whatever you want to make it, rather than having a limit set at 160 for infantry. But like I said, you have to do that every time there's a patch. You have to manually update that each time, and that's kind of annoying and time consuming. So if you can do it through here, it's much better. Now here in settlement, you'd think, oh, that must be for where the garrisons are, and you would be wrong. This just indicates that a character is in a settlement. So we can see that for this last character, he hasn't got a unit. He is a general, which means he's someone we can assign an army to, or he's actually here. He's got prologue, Latium. Yeah, so this general is actually inside the settlement and not actually out in the field. He doesn't even have any army soldiers attached to him either. With regards to garrisons, I'm not actually sure how to actually put them in through assembly kit. I think they go in automatically based on the garrisons assigned to the buildings in the assembly kit. So you have to set all that up previously before coming to the start pos changes. Same thing for all these units here. Well, not right there in those units specifically, but same for these units here. These have to all be set up in assembly kit for you to be able to select them in the start pos. With PFM, you can add any letters or any unit keys you want to the start pods, and it won't check that they already exist in a database somewhere, in the land units tables or whatever. That'll all be done when the game is launched. So with assembly kit, it's got that extra check and balance to make sure that what you're creating will actually run in game. But that also means each time the assembly kit gets updated, you have to copy over all your tables that you've got backed up for all the different tables that require the units, like land units, main units, naval units, whatever you want to add to the start pos has to be set up in the database tables. So I kind of like not having to do that and just being able to edit the start pos directly, and then having my pack with all the database tables already set up and not destroyed each time there's a patch. But again, it depends on how big the changes you're making to the start pos are as to which one requires the least amount of time and effort to do. Okay, so now to back up the work you've done here, changing units and all that kind of stuff, we can't really copy this information from this starting positions window. We have to go out of here and we have to go to table launcher, and then we go down to start pos. You can actually see it right here what the different tables are. So start pos naval units and start pos land units. They're the two tables. And if we go in here and we scroll down, we can see where changes have been made because they're highlighted yellow. So there's a Roari and there's 50 soldiers at 50. You can just see all the different changes that have been made to that start pos. And what you do then, you would just copy. If you've added the units in the other through the start positions table through Form Launcher, then the ID will be created for you automatically. So that's a benefit of doing it that way. To save it and back it up, you just select it. You can click the whole row, and then you just scroll it down. You can Control C and Control V into your spreadsheet of choice, whether that's OpenOffice or Microsoft Office or what have you. And you can copy it back and paste it back in later at another time when you need to. Same thing again for naval units. You can see there, yellow highlight, all good. And again, garrisons are done directly by what units are assigned to each building that is in a settlement. So that's all done in Armies. What was it? Armed Citizen. This one, as we did in a previous episode tutorial, armed citizenry unit group junctions and building to building level armed citizenry junctions. And all that information will then pull over into the start pos, depending on what buildings already exist for each settlement. And that's all there is to it. Then you can just build your start pos, as we did in the previous episode, and then you're good to go. Run it in game. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.